Tasks that VAs can complete for you. Cold calling, we talked about that already. Comping. Yeah, virtual assistants can comp all day long for you if they're really good at it. Why not? Right? You just have to teach them how to do it. You have to teach them how to comp. So again, going back to the very first slide that we had, you don't want to hire virtual assistants too early, because the last thing that you want to do is have somebody on the clock and what they're doing is they're just twiddling their thumbs all day, right? Because you haven't given them enough things to do. So you need to know how to do these things first before you can start to delegate it. So comping is a great tool to delegate, especially when you have business and you have activity and you have leads coming in and you have people that are responding to your pay-per-click campaign. We're going to be going over a topic today that I think a lot of people who are real estate investors or those who are involved in wholesaling real estate ask a lot. And that question is, should I get a virtual assistant? VAs is a very popular topic, especially amongst our industry. I appreciate everybody who has been participating lately and all of the feedback that I have been getting. I also appreciate all the direct messages, the DMs. I feel like I shouldn't have to really say what that acronym is, but there's some people who are of my age demographic or maybe a little bit older that are looking at this. And so if I say DMs, maybe they know it, maybe they don't know it. So my kids make fun of me for using the acronyms and then not only using them but saying them as well. So I might say, hey, shoot me a DM or direct message, and they'll be like, you don't have to say shoot me a DM direct message. Like if you just say shoot me a DM, people should already know that. But anyway, sign of the times, right? We're going to be talking about virtual assistants. For those of you who don't know, I do cover that in my book. There is a whole chapter dedicated to virtual assistants in the book, Deal Like a Dove, Dispo Like a Dragon. I talk about it all the time. I plug it all the time because if I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for me. So the name of the book is called Deal Like a Dove, Dispo Like a Dragon. There is a whole chapter dedicated to virtual assistants, hiring them, firing them, training, what to, safeguards to keep in place and safeguards to keep in mind. So, virtual assistants are a part of this business, and they can actually help you scale this business once you know what you're doing. So there's a whole chapter on that in this book, Deal Like a Dove, Dispo Like a Dragon. You can find it on Amazon. If you purchase the book, send me a picture of yourself with the book, or even better, go on social media, post a picture of you with the book, tag dispodragons.com, and I will send you a coupon code for Audible, and you'll get the free Audible version as well, okay? This is 400 pages of how to build this business, how to really do this business. I didn't hold anything back. I put everything into it. It's taken about a year. It also addresses some of the recent changes that have been taking place and some of the new laws that are kicking in and will be kicking in the future. And the beauty about publishing books on Amazon is that I can go back in there and make updated versions, and then they can pump them out pretty quickly too. So as laws change, as regulations change, I can go back in there and update this, and it will always be current. But pick it up, Deal Like a Dove, Dispo Like a Dragon on Amazon. Again, take a picture of it, take a picture of yourself with it, post it, tag us at dispodragons.com, and I'll send you a code for a free Audible download. What I'm going to do during the first few minutes before I get started in any of these trainings is we're going to go through a little bit of motivation. Yeah, motivation is important, especially in this business, because it's all about mindset. Now, I don't know where you are on this journey, right? So I know that there's some people who are looking at this and they are, 20 years, 18 years of age, 12 years of age, depending on what other wholesaling celebrity you follow. The point is that there are some people that are getting involved in this business and they're very young. Okay, and then there are some people who are of my age, and this may be a second career for them. So I don't know where you are at in your journey. You're going to have two completely different experiences, and there are pros and cons to both, right? To being at a very young age and to being a little bit more experienced with a little bit of gray, Reed Richards gray over your ears. I kind of threw that in for those of you who are Marvel fans and you like Fantastic Four and you know who Reed Richards is. I've developed a little bit of that Reed Richards gray. Mr. Fantastic. Anyway, so look, the bottom line is that when you get involved in this business, there are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be peaks and valleys. You're going to have some successes and you're going to have some losses. That is just a part of this business. I think a lot of times when people see the veterans in this business and they see them doing well, they see them posting checks, they see them posting wires, they see them posting HUDs, they see them taking pictures in front of their cars or in front of their properties. What people get lost in is their chapter 10s as opposed to their chapter 1s, and some of them do a very, very good job of actually going back and documenting their chapter 1s. But this for me was one of my chapter 1s, and this was back in 2004. So for a short period of time, this is before the market crash of like '07 and '08. So I had my own personal crash before the market crash, and I was still involved in real estate. And this was one of the vehicles that I owned. At this point, me and my wife were married. We've got 2 children. Those are my 2 children. And unfortunately, the business that I was involved in it was in my early 20s. It was still real estate related, but it went belly up. So it went belly up. She got her card repossessed, and all we had was the last bastion of success, the last thing that I could look at as a reminder of the success that I was having, which was in my old SLK 320 Roadster Mercedes. Okay, now here's the kicker. She had an SUV. We had 2 kids, and I had a 2-seater car. So I got to gallivant all around town, conducting business in my early 20s, thinking that I was this sharp businessman in a convertible Mercedes Roadster, only 2-seater, and then business collapses and my wife gets her cars repossessed, her truck, SUV repossessed, and now all of a sudden I've got a family of 4 that had to ride around in a 2-seater. Right? An SLK 320 Mercedes 2-seater, and that was all we had. We had no choice. So we were in our 20s riding around with our 2 children, them both sitting in her lap. My youngest son, who was very small. In retrospect, when you look back at it, you think to yourself, how stupid, were we? My daughter is sitting on her lap, and he was sitting down at the floorboard of the car down at her feet. And we would drive around town that way. And this lasted for about, 3 months, maybe 4 months, until we got the brains to decide that we should probably sell the car. But just before we were about to sell it, we lived on a very, very busy street in Hollywood, Los Angeles. Super busy. And for anybody that lives in Hollywood or knows about Hollywood, Los Angeles, there's a lot of people. It's very, very congested. Parking is very, very challenging. And so I had an inordinate number of tickets against the car, and they eventually booted our car. And that is a picture. So I remember walking out. Well, first off, I remember taking pictures of my children in that car and thinking to myself, man, I can't do this again. And then a couple weeks later, coming out and finding my car booted and eventually getting towed away. And so everything that we had, all forms of vehicles were taken from us. What the hell does this have to do with real estate, and why am I sharing this with you? Well, because, we all have our journey. Okay. For some of you, you've tried other things. You've tried other businesses. You've tried other side hustles. You've tried many, many things, and some of them haven't worked out, and you're looking at this now, and you're saying to yourself, God, please let this be the last one. Please let this be the one that I can plant my flag down and I can say to myself, this is going to be the one that I commit to, and this is going to be the one that I really, really make it work. Okay. And then there's some of you who are just getting started. Right? And you're younger, and you haven't really had many failures yet. And one of the advantages that you have to that is that, that naivete, thinking that you could do anything that you want to do, which in theory you can, right? Take advantage of that youth, take advantage of that energy, take advantage of the fact that you may still be living under somebody else's roof and they're paying your bills, and you can build this around that. The advantage of doing it at an older age is that you have this experience, you have this persistence, you have this willpower, and you have this ability to appreciate delayed gratification, okay? Because that's what it's going to take to succeed in this business. So I hope that message helped anybody who needed to hear something just a little bit more motivational, or just to hear something personal, my story that was part of my journey. Let's get right into it now. Okay, number 1, when it comes to virtual assistants, okay, you cannot hire too early. That is one thing that, boggles my mind. When somebody gets started in this business within a week or 2 weeks, all of a sudden they're asking me, should I hire a virtual assistant? And I'm thinking to myself, how are you going to hire a virtual assistant when you don't even understand the business yourself right now? It is very, very difficult for you to delegate a task, to delegate a job, to delegate something to someone else that you have absolutely no knowledge of. So for those of you who are brand new, you've only been in the business a couple of weeks, or I'm going to add something to that. For those of you who have not yet closed your first deal, if you haven't closed your first deal yet, you shouldn't even be thinking about getting a virtual assistant right now. That shouldn't even be on your radar. Right now, the only thing that you should be focusing on is on closing that first deal. And the fastest way for you to close that first deal is for you to, do it the tough way. Try to figure this thing out by yourself, watching all those free YouTube videos, which, by the way, are mainly surface level videos, or what you can do is you can JV, you can do a joint venture with somebody else, which means that you can partner up with somebody else who is a veteran, and you can work together as a team, or you can pay for some type of mentorship or some type of coaching so that they can actually help you with your business. Now, if you are interested in any type of mentorship, if you are interested in any type of coaching, we do offer that. You can visit start.dispodragons.com, start.dispodragons.com. We have a profit sharing mentorship that we have created for people, and I think it's a brilliant in the middle type of mentorship, right? So it's not completely free where you're totally left alone by the wayside, and then it's not super expensive to where it costs thousands and thousands of dollars up front either. So it's right in the middle, and it works pretty good. So if you're interested in learning more about it, visit start.dispodragons.com, and you can learn more about our profit sharing and our mentorship program. So number one, if you are just getting started, or if you haven't closed your first deal, your priority is not to hire a virtual assistant. It is to get that first deal. Okay, you do not want to hire a virtual assistant too early for a couple of reasons. Number one, you're bringing somebody aboard that is going to be relying on you for a consistent paycheck. And if you haven't closed any deals, or you don't have any money saved up, or you don't have any money to really be able to pay that person, you shouldn't even be considering hiring a virtual assistant right now. You really shouldn't, okay? So that's the first thing. Let's go on to the next slide. Second thing, what are the pros of, second slide, of hiring a virtual assistant? So one of the pros of hiring a virtual assistant is that you can delegate the mundane tasks that really you shouldn't be doing, and I would much rather have you doing other things that are they are revenue, the tasks that make you money. Okay, I wanted to sound a little bit smarter there, but didn't come out that well. So at the bottom line is, I want you doing things that are going to make you money. Profitable tasks, okay? What are profitable tasks? Well, profitable tasks are you talking to sellers, you talking to buyers, you negotiating contracts, you closing deals. That is what is going to make you the most money in the business. Talking to sellers, talking to buyers, talking to agents, and closing deals, right? That's what you want to be doing. And I say talking, but really it's just communicating, right? So however you want to do it, there's plenty of people that are using the phones, they're using emails, they're using direct message, they're using all types of different strategies to be able to make contact with people. However you're doing it is fine. The point is, your job is to be making contact with as many sellers, buyers, and agents every single day. That's your job. Then your job is to close, okay? Now, all the other stuff, all the mundane tasks, all the stuff like sending out SMS marketing messages, sending out email marketing messages, posting properties on Facebook groups so that you can try to get those properties sold. All of that other stuff, responding to text messages from people telling you to go jump off of a cliff, all that other stuff can be delegated to a virtual assistant. Writing up contracts can be delegated to a virtual assistant. But again, how can you teach someone to write up a contract? How can you teach a virtual assistant to write up a contract if you don't even know how to fill one out yourself, right? You can't. So going back to what I said earlier, you don't want to hire a virtual assistant too early, but once you've got that part down, once you've mastered how to do contract writing, for instance, then you can delegate that over to the virtual assistant, and you can get them to work on that stuff for you. Now, what are the cons of hiring a virtual assistant? Well, one of the cons is obviously there's an expense, right? You're going to be incurring an expense of paying for them. But depending on where you go to get your virtual assistant. Now, a virtual assistant can be in the United States. A virtual assistant can also be overseas. In a foreign country. It really just depends on what your budget is. Obviously, you are going to be spending less money when you hire someone overseas. Obviously, but when I say virtual assistants, I know of plenty successful wholesalers that also have people that are working for them as apprentices, right? So they might still be in college. Some of them are even in high school, and they're learning this stuff as apprentices, and you can actually pay them a lot less because they're doing it quasi-volunteer work. Don't violate any laws in your state, okay? So I'm going to say that right now. If your state prohibits you from, hiring someone as an apprentice at will worker with no pay, like I'm not telling you to violate any laws. All I'm saying is that there's ways to hire people in the U.S. to still have them work as your virtual assistants. They're obviously going to cost you a little bit more. Now, if you go overseas, you can hire virtual assistants overseas. You're going to pay them a lot less, considerably less, and you are going to be dealing with people that in many cases are very, very, very well educated, okay? They're very well educated in their country. They just, they're in a foreign country and they're not going to be able to come to the U.S. and earn American dollars out here unless they're working for you virtually. All right, so those are some of the pros and some of the cons. Cons are they're overseas. Oh, another con, time difference. Okay. Yes, there's going to be a time difference. Now, many of them are going to be willing to work during your normal working hours. So whatever hours you're on, whether it be Eastern Standard Time or Pacific Standard Time, they're going to be working those hours. And for many of them, that's going to be like evening to graveyard hours. So consider this: if it's foreign or overseas, if you're working with those type of people, it's your morning, afternoon, evening hours, but it's their graveyard or it's their evening, graveyard, morning hours. So that could potentially be a con because that means that some of the tasks that they're going to be completing, they depending on when you need it, they may or may not be able to get to it depending on their schedule. Okay, it really just depends on what hours you have them work for you. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, I did the cons already. Okay, so as you are learning this business, okay, as you're getting going, what you want to do is you want to record all of your processes and standard operating procedures, which are your SOPs. So when you get started, I want you to use a screen recorder tool like Loom, like Zoom. No, not. I guess you can do it with Zoom, but Vimeo. I really like using Vimeo. So you can use Loom or you can use Vimeo, and you can just record what you are doing as you learn this business, okay? Now, a couple things. You're doing this for two reasons. You're doing this because you want to document what it is that you are doing, right, which is great for social media. It's great for storytelling. It's great for content, all right? In addition to that, it's also something that you can then share with any virtual assistant that you're thinking about hiring, because think about it. Before, when we didn't have these tools, we would actually have to sit down with somebody and we'd have to train them one by one, showing them how to do something. And the onboarding process was a pain in the arse, right? It was very, very challenging and very, very time consuming. And if somebody came and then you had to let them go, they robbed you of your time, right? For whatever reason. So in this case, what you want to do is you want to film everything that you are doing as you go throughout your day. If you're going to be making calls, then you're going to screen record the calls that you're going to make. You're going to screen record the processes that you're going to make. So you're going to do it as if you're explaining and teaching someone how to do it. So let's say, for instance, you're going to use Mojo Dialer, right? So you'd log in, you'd say, okay, we're going to go to mojo.com, and you're going to verbally go through the entire process, through the entire steps, so that you can then hand those videos off to a virtual assistant. So it's never too early to start recording all of the things that you're doing in anticipation of the fact that you are going to grow, you are going to scale, you are going to succeed, you are going to have virtual assistants. So it's always a good idea to start recording what it is that you're doing on a daily basis now, so that you can refer back to them as your standard operating procedures. And when you have a virtual assistant that you're training, right? You don't have to necessarily be the one doing it. You could say, watch these 10 videos and then make sure that you know how to do it, and then go out and give them those videos, and then they can learn. All right. Many, many virtual assistants that I've hired these days, I don't sit there and I spend hours with them training them. I do get on the phone with them. I do make sure that we're on the same page. I do weekly check-ins at least once a week. But I use a lot of the videos that I have so that way they can just go in there, watch the video at their leisure, and become more acquainted with whatever procedures or strategies I am currently using. So start recording everything that you're doing. Okay, now, do you use an agency or should you find your own virtual assistant? Well, that's really up for debate. Okay, there are plenty of agencies now that are out there. Some of them are owned by investors, wholesalers, celebrities that you see on YouTube right now. Anyway, it's a business. They've got an audience. So you can use these agencies to hire their virtual assistants. A lot of them are going to charge you a setup fee, a training fee, certain other fees to be able to work with your virtual assistant. Sometimes they allow you to work directly with them through Skype or through WhatsApp. Sometimes they don't want you to work directly with your virtual assistant. You'll just see the results and you just tell them what to do. I'm not against or for an agency. I'm just telling you what you're going to go through, okay? So the benefits of using an agency is that they've already pre-screened the virtual assistants, right? They've done the work for you. So they have found the people. They have found the people that are willing to do the work, found the people that are motivated, found the people that meet your criteria. So if you give them a specific criteria, chances are they're going to be able to find that person for you, which is a time saver. So there is value in that, all right? Now, can you find your own virtual assistants yourself? Probably. Yeah, you probably could. You can go to websites like upwork.ph for the Philippines, and you're going to find a lot of virtual assistants over in the Philippines. You can find them there. I know that there's people that might have a slight aversion to hiring assistants from the Philippines if they're going to be like cold callers or if they're going to be on the phone for you. But I will tell you that there are a lot of Filipino Americans that came to school over here, got citizenship, and then went back to the Philippines. So their accent is in many cases undetectable. I know that I for a long time I had virtual assistants that worked for me, and they were at the University of Hawaii, believe it or not. So there's a bunch of different ways to do it. But if that is the case and you are going to have them making cold calls for you or making calls for you, and you really prefer that your virtual assistant not have an accent, that's just your preference. No, I'm not here to judge anybody. Then you can also consider using virtual assistants who are going to make cold calls for you overseas, over in Egypt, for instance. And if you're interested in learning more about the company that we use for our cold calling overseas, shoot me a DM direct message. Now I'm just playing with words and doing it on purpose. Shoot me a DM and I will put you into contact with the people that we use who handle our cold calling, and they're really good. They're really good. But again, look, there's great virtual assistants all over the world. I have not yet, so I will not touch on it, had the opportunity to work with some of the virtual assistants in Central and South America, but there are some great ones as well, and they have some bilingual ones that work in Central and South America too, which is good if you're going to be working certain markets like Los Angeles, if you're going to work Texas, if you're going to work Florida, Miami, New York. Those are all great states that have a lot of Spanish speaking people and property owners. And so, if you need someone who's bilingual, you might want to consider that. I don't have enough experience hiring people from Central or South America to be able to speak on it, so I won't. Okay. So again, can you find people on your own? Yes, you can. It's going to take you a little bit more time. What are you going to have to watch out for? Well, you're going to have to watch out for the credentials. Okay, so when you're interviewing them or you're reviewing their resume, you're going to look at their credentials. If they're going to be on the phone for you, you're going to want to ask for recordings of them talking to clients or speaking to other people. You want to see samples of that. You could also ask them for video of themselves. Not that you necessarily need that, but these are all things that you can do. I would suggest that when you hire a virtual assistant, you conduct an interview as if they were going to be here in person. Assume that they're going to be here in person and you're doing the exact same thing when you interview them. Put them through that exact process. Be very clear about what the pay structure is like. Now, when you work with an agency, they're going to give you what the pay structure is like. They're going to tell you how you are to pay them. 99% of the time, these agencies collect the fees from you and then they pay the virtual assistant. When you are working with a virtual assistant yourself that you have vetted, screened, and hired, you will be paying them direct. Now, how can you pay them direct? Well, if it's an agency, they'll take American dollars, credit cards, Zelle, Wire, whatever. If it is a virtual assistant that you've hired yourself, they're going to probably use something like PayPal, Wise.com, or Remitly. Okay, and in some rare cases, they're only going to be able to accept wires, international wires. So be prepared for that. Okay, let's go to the next slide. What are some of the tasks that VAs, virtual assistants, can complete? Have you hired a virtual assistant for a closer? That's a great question. So I have. In fact, one of my closers is he is a virtual assistant for me. He's a great business partner of mine, and he's over in Egypt. So yes, I have hired a virtual assistant for a closer. Multiple times. Okay. Now, as things started getting a little bit more challenging with the market, then the team grows. The team may shrink. It just depends. So right now, I have one virtual assistant who helps me close. He is my closer. Undetectable accent. And he, by the way, he lived in the United States as well. All right, but he now lives in Egypt. So, studied here and then went back. Tasks that VAs can complete for you. Cold calling, we talked about that already. Comping, yeah, virtual assistants can comp all day long for you if they're really good at it. Why not? Right? You just have to teach them how to do it. You have to teach them how to comp. So again, going back to the very first slide that we had. You don't want to hire virtual assistants too early, because the last thing that you want to do is have somebody on the clock and what they're doing is they're just twiddling their thumbs all day, right? Because you haven't given them enough things to do. So you need to know how to do these things first before you can start to delegate it. So comping is a great tool to delegate, especially when you have business and you have activity and you have leads coming in and you have people that are responding to your pay-per-click campaigns, pay-per-lead campaigns, especially when I'm really going to work hard on stopping the uhs. I've been watching the videos of myself, and I see that I did it again, that I do a lot. So when you guys catch me, go ahead and call me out on it. I almost did it right now. Comping is a great thing to delegate to your virtual assistants, okay? So you have to know how to do it first, though. And then you have to teach them how to do it. And then you have to teach them the way you like properties comps. This is very, very important, because there's a lot of people that, they'll go 6 months and then they'll go a whole mile to comp. I, for instance, prefer that my comping be done within a quarter mile, and I don't want to go beyond 14 days to 90 days if at all possible. So everybody has different ways of doing this business, but however you like to do it, however you've been taught, is how you want your virtual assistant to do it. So in order for them to be good at it, you have to teach them how to do it as well. But comping is great. Contracts can take a lot of time to draft up when you are working in volume. When you're doing 2, 3, 4 deals a week and you're having to draft up these contracts, it can be a pain in the butt. It seems easy, right? All you're doing is just filling out these forms. But what if it's a sub-2 contract? Subject to contracts take a lot longer, and there's a lot more paperwork than an all-cash deal. What if it's a novation deal? Well, now you have to go out there, you have to find an agent, you have to do all the state-related paperwork in addition to your contract that you're going to add as an addendum to it. So it can get very time-consuming, which is why handing over the task of filling out these contracts for you is very important. Now, that being said, filling out contracts is a very, very, very important part about what we were doing. And if you're going to delegate that to someone else, you have to make sure that they are 100% knowledgeable about how to fill these contracts out, which is another reason that I suggest that you film yourself filling these contracts out, entering the data, entering the forms or the fields, whatever it is that you do, so that you can delegate that and hand that video over to your virtual assistant. Texting. Some of us use text message marketing, SMS marketing, and that can also be time consuming. Very, very time consuming, especially if you're using platforms like Launch Control or a few other platforms where they throttle how many messages can go out, where they can go out, and changing the parameters of the messages so that you don't violate FCC laws. The point is that texting is something that can be delegated. These are mundane tasks, and really all the virtual assistant should be doing is sifting through all of those text messages to find out who are the interested parties. Okay, social media. Social media is another thing that you can delegate to your virtual assistant. Now we're going to talk about being very careful about delegating social media, because number one, you don't want to violate again, the terms of usage for these social media platforms. And when they see that you are logged into through multiple devices, and one in the US and one overseas, it can create a problem for you. I've seen accounts get shut down that way. So what you can do is you can create a secondary account for your virtual assistant to be able to do the things that you need to do, that you want to do with your social media account, which includes, right, posting your properties that you have under contract, which includes doing outreach to sellers on Facebook Marketplace, which includes, you making videos and then sharing them through all of your social media platforms about how you want to ask for business from your sphere of influence, right? I talk about this all the time. One of the cheapest and easiest ways to get business is to pick up the phone and say, hey, it's Paul. Listen, if you have any friends or family that are interested in selling their property, if it has too many repairs, if it's too big for them, if it's become too much work for them, and they want to get rid of it, I'm looking to buy ugly houses. Please refer them over to me, or give me their number. I'll reach out to them, and I'll make sure that I take care of you when we close the deal. Like, people aren't doing that enough. They're just not doing it enough. I did a whole training on social media and how your messages aren't being heard and they're being throttled. And I even referenced and talked about how on all these streaming platforms now, you are seeing the same commercial 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in one show now. And it's the same commercial, and they're not even afraid of it. They're just showing it to you over. I mean, they are putting the message right in your face. So you need to do the same thing. And again, that's time consuming. Getting there, getting on the phone, making the video, and then posting on Facebook, then posting on X, and then posting on Instagram, and then posting on LinkedIn, and then posting in your Facebook group, and then posting on Reddit, and then posting on Twitch, and then posting on TikTok. Trust me. Right? It seems like it's nothing. It seems like it's 2 or 3 minutes. No big deal. Multiply that times 6 or 7 platforms at 2 or 3 minutes a deal. Now, 2 or 3 minutes a platform, and now you're looking at 14, 15 minutes just to post one piece of content. Now, if you're doing that 3, 4, 5 times a day, as we should all be doing that, all of a sudden now you're looking at really an hour and a half to 2 hours of you just posting content. Trust me. It can eat away at your time, and we should be focusing on income producing activities that make us the most money, which are talking to sellers, talking to agents, talking to buyers, closing deals, negotiating contracts, which is why hiring a virtual assistant to handle these mundane tasks is very, very smart. When you are ready, when you've recorded your standard operating procedures, when you've recorded how you do your business on a daily basis so that you can give your virtual assistant videos that they can follow. Okay, next slide and last slide. Never, ever, 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 ever share your personal passwords. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? Do not do it. You're going to run into problems. Because if for whatever reason your virtual assistant and you part ways, whether it be on good terms, whether it be on bad terms, whether it be whatever, they could always, hijack your account. That's just the reality of it. So don't do it. Now, a better practice is for you to create 2 accounts. So, for instance, you have your Gmail, and then you create a secondary Gmail account for yourself. And you have your emails, you've set up filters so that the emails are forwarded back and forth between one another. But that secondary Gmail account that you create, number one, you are still the owner of that secondary Gmail account. They have to log into that Gmail account, and then you create, OTP authentication. You create these codes where only you can authenticate the device, and sometimes they're going to have to call you or text you or message you, DM message you, DM direct message you. I'm doing it again. The code so that they can get in, but you're gonna still be the owner of that account, and you're gonna protect it. This is just a secondary account. Okay, Paul, so how do we do it on social media? Well, on social media, remember, you can create Facebook pages, and you can create managers of that page, not admins. You just want to create managers of it so they can go in there and post stuff for you. You can also create a secondary account in case that the virtual assistant is going to be going out there and using Facebook Marketplace. People tend to they tend to overanalyze Facebook accounts when they see an account that's like it was just created like 3 days ago. I get it. We all do that. We scrutinize it. We're trying to figure out like what is this. I've had people that have seen my secondary account and they'll message me and they'll be like, "Is this you? What's going on here?" And I just explain it's my virtual assistant. They're helping me, find sellers and they're helping me find deals. And so you create another account and then they can go on Facebook Marketplace and they can communicate with people and they can send them DM direct messages. So the point here is you don't ever want to give them complete access to any one of your accounts ever, ever, ever. And most of these tools now have set up parameters, right, to safeguard your accounts. Most of them now, okay? And even so, I still don't want you to do it. I always want you to have some type of a secondary account that they are using to access any of the tools that you are going to use because, I've seen it get ugly and I've experienced it myself. It is what it is. It's just part of the business, okay? So hopefully that helped you guys out. Just to recap, if you have any more questions about virtual assistants, there's a whole chapter dedicated to how to do this on my book, Deal Like a Dove, Dispo Like a Dragon. You can find it on Amazon, Deal Like a Dove, Dispo Like a Dragon. Pick up the book, take a picture of yourself with the book, post it on social media, tag dispodragons.com, and DM me, and I will send you a code for the free Audible version, which is really, really good. I have one of the best narrators, voice actors out there, Tim Alexander, that did the voiceover for me and the narration for me, and he did a phenomenal job. You're gonna love the book. You're gonna enjoy the book. I put my heart and soul into it for a whole year, writing it and just laying it all out there. I didn't pull any punches. You have not the blueprint. You've got the Holy Bible of how to build this thing on there, okay? I did it again. Lastly, if you need help with any one of your deals, feel free to reach out to me. I need to really get rid of that habit. And you're watching me do it in real time now, so it's going to happen. If you're in a contract and you're not getting any traction on it and you don't have any buyers and you're having difficulty getting it sold, sometimes you just need a second set of eyes to look at that deal, to reanalyze it, to figure out who is the ideal buyer, to figure out what is the best exit strategy for it. And sometimes that does require a little bit of renegotiation. Sometimes it just requires us remarketing and targeting the right buyers for it. So if you have something under contract, don't hesitate reaching out to us. Send me a DM direct message and we'll talk about that deal. Okay. Lastly, if you need some type of coaching or mentorship or someone to help you, again, visit start.dispodragons.com. We have a profit sharing mentorship program that you can take a look at. It's super inexpensive, and what it does is it gets you closers on call, closers on demand, mentors that will be there to walk you through the entire process, to help you close your leads, to help you close your contracts, to help you close your deals, and you'll make money. You'll earn as you learn. As always, if you have any questions about what it is that we do or you'd like me to cover, please send me a DM and I'll try to cover it through those videos. If you're not a follower, I have to start asking for this. I haven't been doing it, which is, this is going to be my new ask now. Please give us a follow or a thumbs up to let us know that you appreciate the time that we are taking to go live every single day for you. All right. Have a great afternoon.